Good morning, good evening, and wherever the sun may find you. My name is Walt, and this is Coffee and Concepts on Keystroke Medium. For our look at some tasty caffeinated beverage this morning, we're talking up a lot about latte today. Cafe latte is usually in America very, very kind of simply put together. Um, so basically, a cafe latte is just a fancy way of saying coffee and milk. When you get it in America, it's usually made by brewing an espresso and filling the rest of the cup with steamed milk. Pretty easy. Oh, we got some. Hey, check it out! It's James McCormick. It's 1:38 a.m. where you are. Oh, you're killing me. Very sorry about that. Um, so basically espresso and steamed milk. If the milk produces any foam, a lot of times that's put on top, and you can put fun things like cinnamon or shredded chocolate on it. It's a little bit different than a cappuccino, which is purposely cut into thirds. So you get a third of espresso, a third of steamed milk, and then a third of the foam. A lot of times, once again, cinnamon, chocolate, sprinkled lizard bits, whatever you like on your cappuccino or the top of your latte is the way to go. Latte is a fun way to have coffee because of the fact that a lot of times, a lot of the blends that are used in making a latte or cafe latte is used because of the way it interacts with the milk. The steamed milk either heightens the flavor or kind of enhances it, makes it sometimes tempered so that it's not so bang, but it still gives you that zest in the taste as well as the punch of caffeine. So that's enough of that concept, or as far as caffeine goes, but on to the concept. Um, you ever thought that there's really not a lot of ninjas in my Western? Well, me too. And that brings us into mixing a genre. Mixing genres can be a really fun way to enhance a story, especially if you're trying to revitalize a tired genre by giving it a bit of a spin. A really great example of this, and they're running a Kickstarter campaign for the kind of like relaunch of their thing. Is Pinnacle Entertainment did an amazing job with the initial premise of what happens when you get a zombie and throw it into a Western. Um, their series Deadlands has been on a roll ever since, for many, many years, bringing fun horror-themed Western adventures to role-playing game tabletops, as well as to fiction and possibly even beyond, based on talking to Shane Hensley, and his involvement in Deadlands and how he created it to be this really fun way to kind of give a little shock and awe to a Western genre, which other than cowboys and Indians, you didn't really have a lot. But when Native American tribes summon these giant ghostly powers and it transforms the American landscape, suddenly something very familiar becomes a little bit alien and a lot more fun. Um, Researching these types of mixes can be a great way to see how our inspirations are stranger than make believe. For example, Chinese immigrant workers helped to build the American railroads as well as settle large tracts of land. Um, so, one of the things that would be really, really cool would be if you brought in um, almost like a oh my God, I can't remember the name of that movie. It's going to hurt me now. Imagine Big Trouble in Little China mixed into a Western. That Chinese ghost story, those freaky effects and very cool costumes thrown into six shooters and all sorts of stuff. So I mean, there's a lot there that can be played with as far as things that you can do with that. Or say you wanted to introduce jungle fighting ninjas. Well, the Japanese settled Brazil heavily in the early 1900s, chasing various resources. So, through some of those instances, we got things like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So, I mean, you can see how genres like that colliding could be a lot of fun and really kind of have a place in history that is very, very interesting. Um, Maybe you want Native Americans fighting off Viking hordes trying to take over North America. That was the premise for the early 2000s movie Pathfinder, which was based on a comic. Um, so when you're looking to kind of enhance a genre or take two genres and kind of mix them together, it's really, really cool to kind of look into history and use that as like a starter pistol for getting your brain off the blocks and pushing it and getting it running, and almost giving you a foundation to spark that little creative fire that will help you write the next best thing that you're writing. So with that in mind, what are you going to write today? Put it in the comments below, or send us a note over on Keystroke Medium. For those that want to be in the know and want more Keystroke Medium, Keystroke Medium Live goes on Monday at 10 a.m. with Josh, Chuck, and Scott, discussing all the cool things in and around reading, writing, and a little bit more. Lauren and Kayleen are doing their best to mine the publishing world for tips, tricks, and tactics to help new and even in some cases established writers get their fix and push things forward with their show on Thursday nights at, I believe it's 8 p.m., The Writer's Journey. Josh Caillou is doing long form interviews periodically on YouTube. And of course, we have Coffee and Concepts here on Keystroke Medium, Tuesdays, 7:30 a.m. And like James said, you're killing me. Thank you for stopping by and sharing a bit of your morning and a bit of your coffee with us this morning. We appreciate your time, and thanks for reading, writing, and a little bit more on Keystroke Medium. Cheers. And there's an awkward silence.